As far as fractured relationships go, this is as public and as brutal as it gets. By all accounts, Meghan Markle had a happy childhood, spending much of her time with her father. He says he paid for her education and holidays and took her to TV show sets where he worked as a lighting designer. But when Meghan began dating Prince Harry, it all changed. Hounded by press and alone in Mexico, Thomas Markle was struggling to cope.
There was such an obsession about anything in my world, including tracking down my parents, and I did everything I could to protect both of them.
He says that is not true, and as the tabloids made a mockery of him, he was convinced to take staged paparazzi photos before his daughter's wedding.
No one took any time to protect any member of our family. We were attacked by the press every day.
He is now completely cut off from Harry and Meghan and has no contact with his grandchildren.
I look at Archie, I think about this child, and I go, I genuinely can't imagine doing anything to intentionally cause pain to my child. I can't imagine it. So it's hard for me to reconcile that.
It's a relationship as complicated as it is damaged. But the question now is, can it ever be repaired?
Thomas Markle Senior joins us now. Welcome to Sunrise. Thomas, firstly, you haven't met either of your grandchildren. Gee, that must be incredibly difficult. What lengths will you go to see them?
First, thank you and good morning. What lengths would I go to see them? I would wait patiently till they were ready to bring them to me. I don't want to be a stalker. I don't want to do anything like that. They live about 120 miles from me in Montecito. But as long as my daughter has the attitude that she doesn't want me to see them, that's the way it's going to be. I certainly won't do anything silly or attempt to stalk them to see my grandchildren. Although I think they're being deprived of seeing all their grandparents, and they're being deprived of seeing all their relatives, and I think that's terribly unfair to them.
Well, what would you say to your grandchildren, and what would you like to do with them if you get the chance to meet them?
Well, I would say that I love them, and I would certainly, Lily, of course, is just at the age where you just simply hold her, and Archie, Archie probably be a great little playmate. I'd probably get along very well with him. And I'd certainly enjoy it, I'm sure. He seems like a sweet kid. I'd like to have the opportunity to spend time with him, but until this is resolved somehow with Meghan and Harry, nothing will happen.
Thomas, we know in the US some grandparents have taken legal action to see their grandkids. Is that something you would consider?
I've had offers from several lawyers pro bono to, we do have a right to sue to see our grandchildren, but to me that's like turning this into some kind of a game and using them as pawns, or and I won't sue to see them, because I just think that's using them, and it's not what I plan to do, and I don't want to see Harry and Meghan do the same thing. They shouldn't be used. They're just kids. They're babies.
Yeah.
So, no, I'll wait.
It's a really sad relationship, a really strained one. You're saying all the grandparents can't see them, but Doria can, Meghan's mum, your ex-wife. Have you rung Doria and tried to sort this out and said, hey, can you go into bat for me?
I've tried a few times to call her and not been able to get through, and I've also left a couple of letters for her on her porch. with no response. I don't know if she's, well, Dory and I always did get along. There shouldn't be a problem, but I'm sure that Doria does whatever Meghan and Harry tell her to do. So that seems to be a dead end for me as well.
So you've tried to call her and you've left letters on her porch at her house and no communication whatsoever.
That's correct.
Yeah, it just seems so sad that over those initial photos that you took before the wedding, that sounds like that's where it all broke down. Were you close to Meghan before that, or were things starting to go awry before the wedding?
Meghan and I had a good relationship all from the time she was in this age 2 all the way, well, 8, from the time she was born until she went off to college. It went a little dry when Harry entered the picture. I'm not quite sure why, but it became a little difficult there. And one of the problems was that she kept asking me to tell my oldest daughter, Samantha, and my oldest son, Thomas, to stop saying things about them. But my oldest kids are 50 years old. Good luck to you trying to tell your 50-year-old child to do anything. So that may have been one of the things that upset her. And of course, the photographs were a setup. I was set up by a guy named Jeff Rayner and another guy named Dylan Howard, who was with American Media, I think. And the whole thing was a plan to actually mess up the wedding. I was just part of it. Basically, they went to my oldest daughter and convinced my oldest daughter to convince me to have photographs to clean up my image, because the photographs before that were always making me look bad. So I bought into it and went along. I regret it to this day because it was a total setup. And Jeff knew he knew it. Matter of fact, he bragged about it on Facebook. He bragged about it to everybody. Someday I'd like to, I'm tempted to sue him. If I fail in suing him, I hope to see him someday with Weinstein, because he was also shooting young women for Weinstein to make them look bad so they couldn't sue him for rape.
Yeah. How does that make you feel? From what you're saying, you were conned by your eldest daughter, yes, in cahoots with this management company, no, to stage these photos that really destroyed your relationship, was the last straw for Meghan Markle.
Let me correct that. My oldest daughter was conned into conning me. And they went first to my oldest daughter and said that they would make me look good. And I went along with it. Had I been a little younger and a little smarter, it wouldn't have happened. But I fell for it, and I fell a long way for it. So I do regret it to this day, and I am trying to sue the man. And if I can't succeed in suing him, like I said, I'd be happy to see him laying beside Weinstein.
Look, this has obviously had such an effect on your whole family. Meghan has talked about her mental health, her suicidal thoughts in that Oprah interview while she was in the UK. That must make you feel absolutely terrible as a dad, knowing that she went through that.
I have some doubts about it. I don't know that she went through it. The way it was described on the Oprah show is that she told her husband about it, and then he went and asked somebody, one of the royals, about it, and one of the royals about it said it would be bad to do it. If my wife or my child came to me and said, I'm having a nervous breakdown thinking about suicide, I would take them immediately to a doctor. I wouldn't go check with somebody first. So I think Harry dropped the ball on this, and I think he's obviously not very supportive if he didn't realize that.
So what do you?
I have yet to meet Harry.
What are you casting doubts on whether she had mental health problems or whether Harry couldn't help her?
I think a little of both. I think maybe Meghan was a little dramatic here, and I think Harry was a total failure as a husband, because if a wife or a child of mine came to me and said, I have psychological problems and I'm not thinking about suicide, I would get them directly to a doctor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to go check with somebody first.
What do you think of this whole narrative in the UK that Meghan is the controlling one, that she sets the agenda, Harry's sort of her puppet? Is that the character you remember of Meghan?
I believe that 100%. My daughter is very controlling, and she's been raised to be that way. And Harry to me hasn't shown me much of anything. Like I said, I've yet to meet the man. He didn't bother to come down to ask for her hand. I know very little about him except that he still acts like a 12-year-old boy. So, and I know that my daughter, both of my daughters, as a matter of fact, are very controlling and could certainly control any man. So.
Okay. What do you mean when you said that's the way she was brought up, to be controlling? She was trained to be controlling.
Well, I just meant that she had self-confidence, that's all. It's not some trick about this self-control. It's just that she had self-confidence. When she entered and did in a show or a sport or something, she had the confidence to go through with it and go ahead and do it. That's all.
Because there's one thing about being a confident woman. There's another thing, she's being accused of being a bully to palace staff, because that's one of the main things she's been accused of. What do you make of that accusation?
I've heard about that, and I don't know. I really can't say much about it. The only thing I know for sure is that because she was working a certain television show, that she was used to the idea of waking up at 5 in the morning, and I'm sure nobody else was, so there might have been a problem there. But here again, I hear these things, that she loses her temper and she throws things, and that's possible, I guess. I hear again, I don't know most of the staff at the palace. So the only person I've ever had a relationship with that was helpful to me was Jason Knopf, who had offered many times to help me and was refused by Meghan and Harry to help me. So that would be my only connection to the palace and to the royals.
After all of what's happened today, what do you think? Is there anything that can be done to repair your relationship with Meghan?
At this time, it doesn't feel like it. I love my daughter. I love Meghan. I'm sure I love my grandchildren and I want to see them. I would like to see sometime, maybe she'll... Well, the bottom line, first of all, is I'd like to see them both go, all 4 of them go back to England and fulfill their obligation. And it's better for the children, and it's better for them. By not taking them back there, they're cheating their children. And also, it's a matter of protection. They get much better protection in England than they would in Montecito. So I really would like to see them back in England, and maybe make up with the Queen and make up with their father, and then maybe we can make up.
You sent her flowers for her recent 40th birthday. Was there any response at all? Have you had any off-the-record response at all from either of them, from anyone in the royal family?
I sent her a bouquet of flowers with 2 yellow ones in the middle for the babies, and I have received no response.
Thomas Markle, tell us about your situation at the moment. You live in Mexico. How do you survive? Your eldest daughter was saying you've got health issues, financial issues. How's life for you?
I have no financial issues to worry about. I'm 77 years old. I had my first 2 heart attacks. My first heart attack came because of Jeff Rayner, the person we just talked about. And then my second heart attack came about 2 weeks after that. And I had a couple of stents put in. So far, I'm doing fine. But there's no financial difficulty whatsoever. I don't need Harry and Meghan's money. I live in Mexico. A man can live very well here.
Do you have Meghan's phone number? Do you have any way to contact her or anyone from the palace?
I do not have Meghan's phone number. The last phone number I had was Jason Knopf. I don't know if I still have that or not, but he was my only real connection to anyone there.
Okay. Thomas Markle, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Just a sad state of affairs. Unfortunately, it happens to a lot of families, doesn't it?
A lot of families, but you know, the lengths he's gone to contact Doria to see if she can build a bridge and completely ignored there. Yeah, I feel sorry.